Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today, I'll be going over all of the secrets and Easter eggs in Super Mario 3D All-Stars. But before we get into this video, I wanted to let you all know that I'm doing a Pokemon Legends Arceus, Brilliant Diamond, and Shining Pearl giveaway. All you have to do is click the link in the description for a chance to win. Super Mario 3D All-Stars came out September 2020 to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary. This collection of game houses enhanced versions of Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy. Now, I've already gone over and made videos of each one of these games individually. However, I felt it would be more convenient for them to all have one video. Oh, and if you guys like this kind of content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, as only 2% of the people who watch my content are actually subscribed. Well, with that being said, let's jump right into it. At the start screen, if you press the shoulder buttons, it will fill the screen with more Mario faces. Before defeating King Bob-omb, there are only 2 balls in the pit down below, but after defeating him, there will now be a third one, and even one of the pink Bob-omb confirms this by thanking you and saying that King Bob-omb is now just a dud. In Cool Cool Mountain, the baby penguin will actually mimic Mario when he does a dive. After collecting all 120 stars, the big penguin from the slide will be even bigger and mentions how he hasn't been hitting the slopes lately. You don't get anything for beating him again, just bragging rights, I guess. And here's what he normally looks like. Everybody already knows about the L is real statue in the courtyard and how it hints about Luigi being a playable character. But did you know that in 2020, we actually found the source code of Luigi's official model? Tetrabit Gaming did a really great video going over the details. Here's a few clips from that video, and a link to that video will also be down below in the description. I highly suggest you guys check it out if you're interested in this.
L is real 2401. On July 25th, 2020, another leak had been dropped on the internet, and among a plethora of other awesome information, our boy Luigi had finally been found. And then, in a matter of hours, Luigi's model was found, and modders were already trying to mod Luigi into the game. And before we all knew it, the full model was reconstructed, and there he is. Luigi is finally legitimately brought back into Super Mario 64. The craziest thing out of all of this is that, as many have pointed out, this leak had happened exactly 24 years and 1 month since the original release of Super Mario 64 in Japan. 2401. Coincidence? Probably.
Did you know that the Skybox in Wet Dry World is a real world location in Spain? When jumping in water, there is a very rare chance that a fish will also jump out of the water with Mario. Some people have even gotten 2 fish to jump out at once. There's actually another really cool Easter egg that I don't think anyone has found yet. There's a really big red button. If you look right underneath this video, when you click on it, it actually shows you whenever I post a new video. There's even a secret hidden bell that pops up too that will notify you whenever I post a new video as well. I'm totally joking about this one, guys, but if you guys are enjoying this video so far, please do hit that subscribe button. If I don't hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, I will be deleting my channel. Yes, that includes this video as well. I know some of these Easter eggs are a bit well known, but I promise if you stick around a little bit longer, there'll be a few new ones that you have never seen before. The next one is a neat one. It may be a bit of a stretch, but this image might be a reference to The Legend of Zelda's Song of Storms. The only issue is that Super Mario 64 came out 2 years before Ocarina of Time. But at the same time, they were working on these games at the same time. So, I mean, who knows? The same image is that texture that is used into the next room. However, this was changed in the Nintendo DS version of Super Mario 64. The painting next to the stairs is just a blue one, and the starry painting no longer has the stars in the same pattern as Song of Storms. So I'll kinda let you guys decide if this is really an Easter egg or a reference or not. When going through the final level, Bowser in the Sky, you can see Goombas and Koopa shells on some of the walls. Also, right before you get to the final fight with Bowser, you can see an 8-bit version of Mario fighting Bowser on some of the pillars. In the North American version of the game, when Mario throws Bowser, he says, "So long, King Bowser." Which kinda sounds like "So long, gay Bowser." But in the Japan and the Switch version of the game, he would just say, "Bye-bye." This is because Bowser is not his real name in Japan. His real name in Japan is King Koopa. During the final fight, after throwing Bowser a few times, he starts to stomp and jump on the stage, breaking it into the shape of a star, the main collectible of the game. After defeating Bowser, his voice lines change a little bit depending on how many stars you have and what version of the game you're playing on. If you're playing on the Switch version of the game and you beat him with all 120 stars, he will mention how you have collected all 120 stars and say that there were even a few stars hidden that he didn't know about, aka the Castle Secret stars. He then follows up with saying, "Just you wait until next time, keep that L stick smoking." In the original North American version of the game, Bowser just said to keep the control stick smoking, as the original Nintendo 64 controller did not have 2 analog sticks. However, if you don't have all 120 stars, he will say, "It's not over yet. Come on, troops, let's watch the ending together." And speaking of the ending of the game, did you know that in the original version of the game, if you plug in a second controller and move the analog stick around, you can actually move the camera angle during the credits. This was sadly removed in the Switch version. One of the most well-known secrets and Easter eggs of this game is after beating the game, you can now access the cannon outside, shoot yourself up to the top of the castle, and find Yoshi, who will grant you 100 lives. And lastly, your triple jump now has sparkles! Oh man, okay, so we're done with the Easter egg and references for now, but don't go anywhere guys, as I still have much more to show you. So a viewer of my last video actually pointed this out to me, and I had never known about this. But apparently, when you stand on top of the castle, in the back right corner, if you drop down and pull yourself back up, Mario will lose his hat and instantly die. It's super weird and pretty cool, as I've been playing this game my entire life and I just learned about this a few months ago. If you walk right up to the Cool Mountain painting and look to the left, you can see an out of bounds object. I assume this is part of the floor that you fall into for Bowser in the Dark World. But it's still pretty neat to see this here, as I have never known about this. Speaking of objects that are out of bounds, there's actually 2 coins that you cannot collect. One being in Snowmans Land, right under this ramp, and the other is in Tiny Huge Island, right next to the green pipe. Have you ever noticed during a boss fight or when there's a lot of stuff going on screen that Mario's model actually changes? People call this the low poly Mario. This was used to help the game run smoother on the original Nintendo 64 hardware. I'm not exactly sure why they needed him in the Switch version, but I guess it was a neat thing to include. If you have never seen this as well, I'm sorry to tell you, but you can now never unsee this and will always notice it. Now, onto some secrets you may have not known about. This first one may be a bit obvious, but as a kid, these wooden poles were always such a mystery to me. I never knew what their purpose was, and when you ground pounded all of them, nothing would happen. But it turns out if you run around them, they'll shoot out a few coins. This can be really helpful when you're getting the 100 coin stars. You won't get any coins if you ground pound them at all though. In Womp's Fortress, if you jump on the owl and do a bit of sightseeing, the owl will eventually get tired, make a comment about Mario's weight, and tell him that he needs to lay off of the pasta, and drops him. He doesn't even care if Mario's off the stage and he's going to die. He's tired of carrying Mario's fat ass. And in the original Japanese version of Super Mario 64, Jolly Roger Bay had a painting depicting bubbles. In the North American version of the game, it was changed to a sunken ship. Then in Mario 64 for the DS, it brought back the bubble painting and even added it to the upstairs hallways. But then in Super Mario 3D All-Stars, they used the sunken ship painting again. I have no idea why they changed this painting so much, but it's definitely interesting. If you don't touch the game for a bit, Mario will fall asleep and start talking about food.
Spaghetti. Ravioli. Mamma mia.
Me too, Mario. Me too. A lot of people wonder what this painting is in the upstairs hallway. All the other paintings are of levels, but what about this one? Well, this is actually the wing cap painting. This was actually changed in the DS version of the game. It's now a starry painting for some reason. Did you know that you can climb under the bridge in Bomb Battlefield? I'm not really sure why, but okay. If you punch butterflies, they will either give you a 1-up or blow you up. It may be best to just not punch them and respect nature. The next two are a bit obvious, but if you jump into wet dry world painting at different heights, it will change the water level. A very similar thing happens in Tick Tock Clock. Jumping into the painting when the big hand is on 12, 3, 6, and 9 will result in objects moving at different speeds. In Tiny Huge Island, when you're tiny, you can jump on the Goombas and get 1 coin, or you can ground pound them to get a blue coin that is worth 5 coins. This is very helpful to know when going for the 100 coin star here. I'm not going to be adding in the impossible Goomba, the invisible pirate ship in Jolly Roger Bay, and other secrets like this simply because you need to hack the game in order to see these. They're all still really cool though, and I recommend you all to search them on YouTube and see what they're all about. Did you know that Boo's laugh is just Bowser's laugh sped up with a higher pitch? After beating the game, you get this end screen. Some people claim to see a face right behind the star. Some say it looks like Yoshi, others say it looks like Mario, but what do you guys think? Do you guys see anything? Let me know down below in the comments. And now I'll be showing you all of the secret warp locations in the game. If you guys are enjoying this video so far, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to stay updated with my future videos, as I plan to do more Mario 64 and Zelda content in the near future. If I happen to miss one, please just let me know. I won't have much commentary as there's not a whole lot to talk about, so I'll just let the video do all the talking. When filming this specific warp point, a Bomb-Omb just ran off and killed himself. I thought it was pretty interesting, but did anyone else catch that? And now lastly, I'll be showing you all of the secret 1-ups in the game. I'm sure I missed a few of these as these are really well hidden. So again, please let me know if I missed any. To start things off, Mario's new tropical adventure starts us in Isle Delfino, which translates from Italian to English, and it translates saying Dolphin Island. Dolphin was the codename for the Nintendo GameCube during development. But that's definitely not the only reference we have to the GameCube's codename. There are multiple statues and images of a dolphin. Heck, even the whole island is in the shape of a dolphin. I'll leave it up to you guys to try and find all of the dolphin references in this game. Let me know how many you guys found in the comments. During the very first piranha plant fight of the game, if you pan the camera around, you'll notice the shape of the graffiti is in the shape of Mario's face. During a brief moment in this cutscene, Peach's earrings would actually change to the same texture as her eyeballs. When you start your adventure, you meet your companion for the game, Flood, who was developed by Dr. E. Gadd, the same doctor who we met in Luigi's Mansion. When Flood analyzes Mario, you can see a few clips from the previous Mario games in the bottom left corner. And on the other side of the screen, you can see some names of Mario's past games. They're just reversed. A little bit of a spoiler alert, but when Flood breaks at the end of the game, he shows off a few game over screens from the previous Mario games. Piantissimo is actually the running man from Ocarina of Time, or at least he has a similar face to him. If you run around the underground pipes in Delfino Plaza, you may have noticed that there is an area that seems like you can't get to it there at all, but there is actually a secret entrance to get here. Before you get access to Rico Harbor, if you look above the giant piranha plant, you can see a leftover button that you can ground pound once you get the rocket nozzle. I guess they just kind of got lazy and forgot to hide this one. In Delfino Plaza, there is an out-of-bounds nozzle near the bell tower. You can use glitches to actually obtain this nozzle, but aside from that, there is no other way to get it. When collecting this secret star, there is a pianta that says that he has been chasing this red bird for 38 years. I'm not exactly sure if this is some sort of reference. Maybe you guys might know. If so, let me know down below in the comments. He also has a weird voice line that is not heard anywhere else in the game. Entering Noki Bay itself is a reference to Super Mario 64, where you had to look up into the sky to enter the wing cap level. Serena Beach is a really interesting level because it has so many Easter eggs and references. The first being the hotel's courtyard is in the shape of a GameCube controller. The little huts are where the C-stick and the D-pad are, and on the right hand side there's little pools of water in the shape of A, B, X, and Y buttons. There's a fountain where the star button is, the left side is where the control stick is, and right in the top middle is where the cord would come out. During the first episode, the Manta Storm, the island is attacked by the shadowy manta ray. Some people say that this could be a reference to the horror novel The Shining by Stephen King, which mentions a strange shadow-like form which assumed the shape of a huge obscene manta, and then the wind seemed to catch it, to tear it and shred it like old dark paper. The two both share a thin manta-like form and vanish into thin air after being divided. During the secret levels of Serena Beach, you can clearly spot some Pixel Marios. Another thing I wanted to add to this is during a lot of the secret levels throughout the game, there are a lot of references to past Mario games and even Yoshi Island games, so I'll leave it up to you guys to spot all of them. There is a picture in the hotel. The pianta next to it even makes a comment about it and how it's kind of weird. She also calls you out for sneaking into her room. Maybe you shouldn't be doing that, Mario. When you spray this painting, it reveals an image of a boo, and then after that, it lets you jump through it. This is a reference to Super Mario 64 and how you would jump into paintings for the levels. And lastly, one of the piantas in the ceiling is complaining about all the ghosts and wishes someone would just come and suck them up with a vacuum. I bet I know a plumber that can get that job done. The little seashell guys around Pianta Park play melodies from previous Mario games. If you use a glitch to get out of bounds in Pianta Park, you can see an unused Goomba under the stage. During episode 3 in Noki Bay, at the bottom of the bottle, there is a little labyrinth object. If you pan the camera around this door, you can see a scrapped book. We don't really know why it was scrapped, but there's a ton of theories out there. At first, this Pianta is stranded on an island. And then after you beat the game, he comes back to the mainland. But he complains about how he wants to go back to his island. And lastly, did you guys know that you can actually return to the airstrip? I had no idea for the longest time, but yeah, you just talk to this guy with the boat, and he'll bring you back to the airstrip where you can collect a bunch of coins and a secret star. The only unfortunate thing about this port is that they don't use the original box art for Super Mario Galaxy, which holds a neat little secret. This is a bit of an obvious one, but if you look at every letter that has a sparkle on it, you get URMRGAY, or you are Mr. Gay. Some people interpret this as saying or meaning you are Mr. Happy, as gay can also mean happy. The Octo Goombas are one of the very first new enemies you run into in Super Mario Galaxy, and they have a striking resemblance to the Octoroks from the Zelda series. And King Cataline, I don't really know how to pronounce his name, that's the best I could do, one of the first bosses in the game, has even more of a resemblance to the Octoroks. Good Egg Galaxy has a Yoshi egg as a planet. Unfortunately, Yoshi was not in this game. However, it's a neat little nod to him. It's almost like they're telling the player, hey, we didn't forget about Yoshi. You can also have his head as the save file icon. In Flip Switch Galaxy, the background has images from the original Super Mario Bros. Game on the NES. In Space Junk Galaxy, there's a rocket that looks strikingly similar to the one from the Pikmin franchise. Maybe Olimar or Alf ran out of rocket fuel and got stuck in this galaxy. And before we leave Space Junk Galaxy, you can feed this Luma to create a planet that is in the shape of Yoshi's head. Whenever you race Shadow Mario, if you press Z and A just before the countdown ends, you will get a head start. You will know you get this head start as Mario will start to flash a different color. A lot of the little musical notes that usually reward you with 1-ups typically have remixed tunes from previous Mario games. This is the case with both Mario Galaxy games and even future games like 3D World. In Toy Time Galaxy, there is a hidden train under some blocks. You can only view this by going into a first-person view. And a little bit more of an obvious one, there is Pixel Marios in the background of Toy Time Galaxy, which ends up being its entire level. And on the backside, there's even a Pixel Luigi. In Rolling Gizmo Galaxy, there is a section where if you look down below the stage, you can see some star bits that are in the shape of a Zelda rupee. In Buyo Base Galaxy, there is a planet that looks very similar to a Pokeball. Ghostly Galaxy has a level called Luigi and the Haunted Mansion, an obvious reference to Luigi's Mansion. If you collect 9,999 star bits, all coconuts will turn into watermelons. I'm not really sure why, but it's definitely a weird change. Did you know that you can reach galaxies without a launch start? You just need to use the Flying Mario power-up to reach them in the hub world, but I think this is only available in the Nintendo Wii version of the game. Bowser Jr.'s Airship Armada has a hidden planet in it. All you have to do is get to the first cannon and look to your right. Gold Leaf is the first galaxy, but it's mirrored. However, that's not the reason why we are here. The reason we are here is that there are Cataquacks here, an enemy from Super Mario Sunshine. The concept of climbing on top and moving on a large being was originally intended to be used as the final fight as Ganon in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, but this was scrapped due to the fact that one would be unable to see Ganon himself while atop of him. However, this was later reused in Super Mario Galaxy, much to the excitement of the development team. Many of the minigame galaxies have remixed music from previous Mario games. Here are just a couple. And here are all the hidden 1-ups in the Comet Observatory. After collecting all 120 stars, you will get a different ending. You can also unlock the ability to play as Luigi, but there's still a few more things. After collecting the last Power Star, back at Peach's castle you will get a letter in the Wii system board with a cute little postcards. However, this has been removed in the Mario 3D All-Stars remake of the game, as the Nintendo Switch doesn't have any type of message boards. And that's about all I got for you guys today. If you guys like this kind of content, I've made other secrets and Easter egg videos on other Mario games, such as Mario Galaxy 2, Mario 3D World, and Bowser's Fury. Additionally, I'll be making more Mario and Easter egg videos in the future, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if I happen to miss any secrets or Easter eggs, please let me know down below in the comments. Well, with all that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day today.